Welcome back to another video. We're with another mock draft mid-season edition. Kind of like it's week 9 basically, or I'm recording it on Thursday when before the Packers face the 49ers. So yeah, anyway, mock draft 2.0. If you want to see the first one, I'm probably going to link it at some point in this video. And yeah, and I'm probably going to link the Untitled Football podcast, which drops every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, we're here with another mock draft though. The second iteration of the mock draft. The last one got some pretty good response from my video standards, as I'm not a big YouTuber or anything. But yeah, here we go with another mock draft. The Jets are on the clock, picking number 1. And I mean, yeah, at this point, it's basically a foregone conclusion that the number 1 overall pick is Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from the New York Jets, quarterback from Clemson University. He's out with COVID right now, and DJ, not gonna try it, is playing well in his absence, which doesn't raise any questions for me in my evaluation of Trevor. I also thought that DJ was pretty good coming out of high school from the little bit of tape I watched of high school, because the camera angle is just kind of hard to watch. But here with the second overall pick, I'm going to do a pick that a selection I didn't do last time with Justin Fields to the Giants. He's a significant upgrade over Daniel Jones, and I think he's a tier above. I think he's clearly the second best quarterback in this draft class. People that try to say otherwise, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get the argument because from a physical tool standpoint, Trey Lance is better than Justin Fields. But Justin Fields is probably better at everything else that is required to play the quarterback position. Like Justin Fields is better than Trey Lance at. But even with that being said, I'm still gonna have Trey Lance here at 3rd to the Jaguars, because I do think he is a talented quarterback. And I mean, like, I do think he's a significant. Maybe not significant, but I do think there's a pretty big gap between him and Justin Fields, and then a smaller gap between Fields and Lawrence. And I think there's a smaller gap between Lance and my QB4, which I'll talk about later in this video, than people might think. So yeah, but here, the pick's gonna be Penei Sewell, a generational level tackle out of Oregon, super athletic freak. Just amazing from a production standpoint as well. Only allowed like 7 pressures last year. I mean, he's great. And you already have your franchise guy. I contemplated going Jamar Chase, but yeah, you already have your franchise guy. You want to give him some protection. But now here, Atlanta, Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. Freak athlete, freaky traits, the length, the speed, the burst, the power. It's just he's not that refined of a prospect yet, and he opted out, so we didn't get to see if he added more pass rush moves to his repertoire. But he is a really freak athlete who was uber productive last season at the college level, despite being kind of raw. Now here is an interesting thing. I contemplated Jamar Chase, because I contemplated Jamar Chase for every team that picked at this point. And I didn't go that direction. Now here, I know I also thought about Michael Parsons, but the linebacker position is like the strongest on the Cowboys defense, even though Jalen Smith has not been good this year and Leighton Vander Esch is always injured. So cornerback is the pick here. I'm going to go with my cornerback number 1, which might be a bit unpopular, in Caleb Farley. I think Farley's a better player than Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is like a Trayvon Diggs clone. I think he's better than Diggs, but we've seen how players with similar skill sets as Diggs work out in the NFL. Like, you're either Richard Sherman or you're Trayvon Diggs. And Trayvon Diggs I think Patrick Surtain probably falls somewhere in the middle, but I think Caleb Farley's overall a better cornerback. Now here is an interesting thing, because Washington's in a position where they almost have to draft a quarterback, and I'm gonna do it because nothing else would be nearly as big of a value add here. So if this is a bit of an overdraft, because I don't think Zach Wilson's quite yet a top 7 player, but that's who it's gonna be. I think he's better than Kyle Trask. The only thing is level of competition. But I think Zach Wilson has the physical traits that NFL teams look for. His accuracy is insane. He's playing arguably like the best quarterback in college football this season. And the only concern is really his off field, his level of competition. And which that's not a question mark for Trask, but I have more actual playing the game question marks for Kyle Trask than I do for Zach Wilson. I have a couple for Zach Wilson. Like, his pocket presence isn't amazing. Like, it looks kind of erratic and skittish, and he runs out of clean pockets at times, which is actually a relatively big concern. But yeah, I have less concerns. Like, and he also offers some more off schedule, off platform, like out of the pocket playmaking ability than Kyle Trask does. Kyle Trask is more of a pocket statue. But here we're on to the next one. Alex Leatherwood to the Chargers, giving Justin Herbert some pass protection. Put him on the other side of Brian Bulaga, and he played on the other side of Jedrick Wells. He's not nearly the same athlete as Jedrick Wells, but he was actually a better player in college, allowed less pressures whilst getting the more difficult matchups like the Caleb Chasons of the world, and when they played up against them, and he had tougher assignments and was still able to outproduce Jedrick Wells at the college level. Though he might not have the freakish athletic traits, he's a smooth-moving guy. But still, here we have Jamar Chase to the New England Patriots. Doubt Jamar Chase slides, and there's another guy that slides this far. There's another guy in this draft as well, and Micah Parsons are still available that I doubt slides as far as well. But this, like, the value / need didn't match up for Micah Parsons, and not for Jamar Chase. Like, though I value receiver highly, none of the other teams. I mean, maybe the Chargers, but even that's kind of eh. So yeah, now we're on to the Vikings. I contemplated going with the interior offensive lineman, but I don't think that's the greatest value at 10. Even though I do think Wyatt Davis is a pretty good interior lineman. Like, drafting an interior offensive lineman isn't the greatest pick inside the top 10. The only exception to that rule is Quentin Nelson, who is legitimately, like, special. But other than him, it wouldn't even be worth it. And even still, Quentin Nelson really isn't worth it like that either. You had Andrew Luck, so it was going to look better than it actually is, but he is really good. Here, I'm going to go with cornerback Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. Long, lengthy corner. I don't think he has great long speed. Like I said earlier, he's basically like Trayvon Diggs. I think he's better than him, but yeah. And I didn't go offensive tackle or anything because their actual tackles are pretty good, or solid at least. And I'm going to go with Samuel Cosmi to the Bengals. Contemplated Jalen Waddle here. Samuel Cosmi, I don't know. I think 11 is a bit rich for Cosmi, but like for the Bengals, I do think it's a pretty good pick. And then here, I'm going to go with Michael Parsons, getting your Kuechly replacement now. He probably doesn't slide this far at draft night. Like, I think that is a hard slide for Parsons. But, because as of right now, I have him, like, top 5 in my, like, on my big board, despite him going 12th in this mock draft, mainly because the value and need didn't match up. And really, the need just didn't match up. But here, Jalen Waddle is going to go to the Detroit Lions at 13. That might be a bit of a fall as well. But he's also injured, so there is a chance that he does fall in the real draft. But, yeah, I do think Waddle is really good. Really explosive. I think he's a good route runner. A complete wide receiver in a way. Maybe not complete. He's not the best route runner, but I do think he's really good off the line of scrimmage in terms of how he can win with his explosiveness and twitchiness. Like another guy that I'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, now we have the Broncos on the clock at 14. And there was many directions. Like, I would personally debate going quarterback here because I don't think Drew Lock is that good. And I think Kyle Trask is better, but I highly doubt they'll replace him because their record might be somewhat good. So I think I'm going to go Shaun Wade. I mean, Shaun Wade hasn't been that great playing outside corner this season. I mean, he's only played 2 games, granted. But, like, maybe if he doesn't pan out on the outside, you can throw him into his more natural position in the slot. But you have Callahan there. But, I mean, like, Callahan has, like, 1 year left on his contract, I think. Or 2 years left on his contract, I think. So, I mean, maybe this is more of a long-term pick in a way. Because their tackles are actually good. Garrett Bowles has been amazing this season when they are more lenient to holding penalties. Garrett Bowles becomes the best tackle in the NFL, or damn near one of them. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Shaun Wade here. I think Shaun Wade is a good cornerback, though he hasn't been great on the outside. I just think he's a great defensive back. Here we're gonna go with Rondale Moore, which might be a surprise pick to many. Rondale Moore is like the perfect scheme fit here. Explosive, amazing after the catch. He like led all of the FBS in yards after the catch per reception as a true freshman, I think. And he's just explosive and dynamic after the catch. And this would build you an amazing receiver corps when it comes to just getting the ball in the guys' hands and letting them work. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Rondale Moore, George Kittle, who's really good after the catch as well. Like, that's an elite group of receivers now, in my opinion. Devonta Smith to the Dolphins. Another Alabama receiver. I was actually slightly higher on him coming into the season. I ended up flipping that before the season started, just like watching, like reevaluating all their tape. Jalen Waddle's raw athleticism is just off the charts, especially with how good his ball skills are in contested catch situations. Like, they're actually not terrible. Nor's Devonta Smith, he's probably better at that stuff. I like Devonta Smith a lot. Some people don't even have him in the first round, which I think is crazy. Here we have the Raiders, which, I mean, I think they're in a weird spot because they need pass rush. They need pass rush. They also need, like, guys in the secondary. Like, when was the last time they could cover? They still can't cover down. They have a terrible defense overall, kind of. So yeah, but I'm looking at Kwity Paye and Jayson Oweh, who play in the Big Ten, just started playing football again. Both of them look great. I'm gonna go with Jayson Oweh. I think he's looked better. I mean, my priors of him were actually higher on Kwity Paye. We're higher on him than Kwity Paye. But yeah, here we're gonna go with the Bears. But yeah, like, back to Oweh. Oweh, he's a freak athlete, just a freak athlete, and he doesn't have too many pass rush moves, but he's been one of the best pass rushers from a production standpoint this season, despite having no pass rush moves, and the fact that he's reportedly running a 4.33 at 6'5", 255. He might go higher than this. But yeah, the Eagles, last time I went Dylan Moses. Like, if you're an Eagles fan, comment down below what player or position you want in the draft, because I don't know what you guys want. Like, personally, I'm not high on Dylan Moses, so I wouldn't do Dylan Moses. I thought about Rashad Bateman here. That was pretty tempting for me, based off the fact that your receiver core isn't great, but it's also banged up every season. So, I mean, you really never get to see their receiver core at full strength, but I still feel like Bateman would help out a ton. But I didn't go that direction. I went with Dylan Moses once again. Now here we have the Cleveland Browns at 20. I mean, there's many directions they could go. They could go with edge rusher, linebacker, because Olivier Vernon's getting up there. He's actually pretty good when he's on the field. But yeah, I mean, you could go with quarterback. There is no replacement for Baker at this point, though, in the draft, saying that Trask, Wilson, Lance, Fields, and Lawrence are all gone right now. So yeah, I might go with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Out of Notre Dame. He's actually been having a pretty good season. Pretty good coverage linebacker, but I didn't go that direction. I'll say it already. I went in a different direction. I went on the offensive side of the ball. And I went with Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Damn. But yeah, I went with Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. I mean, you have Odell on the shelf right now. Well, that's not the reason why I made the pick. But you have Odell on the shelf. I mean, Rashad Bateman is actually. I think Rashad Bateman's great. You just build a dangerous receiver core like that. You get Bateman, Odell, Jarvis, and you have a pretty good mix of skill sets. Odell, who can separate vertically, separate under, like he can do everything. Jarvis Landry, who's a bit more of an underneath guy. Bateman, who can do almost everything as well. Great ball skills, great polish on his route running. I mean, he's a really good player. He might not have the athletic traits of a Rashad Bateman, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Waddle, but yeah. Here we have the Jaguars taking Kyle Pitts. I think he probably goes higher in real life, honestly. I feel like, like I did say live for the Browns. Like, this is a post-com because I just couldn't get it going for the live com. I had the audio going, but it never recorded, so I just did a post com because I have the still have the video for some reason. But yeah, I feel like linebacker and tight end are similar from a value standpoint to where if you have the ones that actually make a difference, like those elite pass catching tight ends, which at this point this season are like only Kittle and Kelsey, and the linebackers that are great in coverage, there's only like 4 of them in the NFL. If you have one of those guys, then yeah, they do add a pretty good amount of value. But see, that's not most of the league. That's why I didn't go with Kollmann for the Browns. Now Tyson Campbell to the Colts. I feel like he's a good fit from an athleticism standpoint. I mean, from a size standpoint, they look for those more bigger cornerbacks who can tackle. He's one of those guys because they give up a lot of stuff underneath. And now we have Kwity Paye to the Cardinals. Chandler Jones is basically the only consistent guy they have as a pass rusher. Kwity Paye isn't really that consistent of a pass rusher either, but I think he is somebody that could at least be good against the run too, which is what they've been looking for this season. Like they thought like they were too small on the edge, they thought. So they started to get guys who were just bigger. They traded for Marquise Golden again. But now here again for the Ravens, and like Kwity Paye is a very big, stout guy. But here for the Ravens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he's an underratedly complete receiver. Like, he's good after the catch, smooth moving as a route runner. I mean, he might not be the best contested catch guy in the world, but he's not terrible by any means in those situations. I think you do want to see him more against single coverage if you want to play him as an outside receiver consistently. But at least we know he's probably a great slot receiver at the next level. But just how good his route running is, how good he is after the catch. Like, he does have multiple skill sets that he's actually good at. So, yeah. Now we have Chris Olave, a guy who does have a bunch of reps against single coverage, playing on the outside. Now, he might not be as complete of a receiver as Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's from the standpoint of he's not nearly as good after the catch. Like, Amon-Ra St. Brown forced, 18 missed tackles after the catch. Chris Olave had, 3.8 yards after the catch per reception. Which, I mean, that role doesn't really create a lot of yards after the catch in the first place. Like, Terry McLaurin has showed that he is a good after the catch, though that's not reflected in his numbers in Ohio State or or in his rookie season, because a lot of vertical targets, you're not really getting the opportunity to force missed tackles. Now, Terry McLaurin's doing more underneath stuff this season compared to what he did last year, so he's showing he actually is good after the catch. Now, the similar thing to Olave, he's actually way more productive than McLaurin was at Ohio State, because Justin Fields is throwing the ball downfield more than Dwayne Haskins. But here we have the Titans on the clock at pick number 26. I thought about going Basham. He was like my edge number 3 or 2 going into the season. I mean, he still has the freakish athletic traits, like the power, the burst that he had before, but the production is actually kind of important to me. Not even kind of, it's actually really pretty important to me, because I mean, he wasn't consistently productive last season. Like, he had a bunch of high-end games, but the overall baseline of his games weren't good, and he hasn't been good this season. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a guy. He hasn't been good this season, even though he has been able to put together high-end games at times in his career last year, like North Carolina. Watch his tape versus versus Duke, I think. Damn, I forgot which one it was. But I'm going to go with Barmore, who's been amazing as a pass rusher this season. Isn't as good as he was against the run last year, but he's definitely been way better than Marvin Wilson has been this year. Marvin Wilson's been a bit of a letdown this season, and yeah. Saints, I'm going to go with Mac Jones. I mean, Jameis Winston is maybe the heir to the throne. Maybe. I feel like that's kind of a stretch in a way. Not even a way. I feel like that's just kind of a stretch. I mean, if Summer Breeze rubs off on Jameis and Sean Payton being a better play caller than Bruce Arians, like, maybe you do have something in Carson Wentz, but I don't know. Because I don't think Bruce Arians is that good of a play caller. Like, right now, Tom Brady's playing out of his mind despite of Bruce Arians. Like, some of the disadvantageous spots he's put in these 3rd and longs. And sometimes he's not, because Ronald Jones has actually been pretty decent for the past couple weeks. Has actually been pretty good the last couple of weeks. But, yeah, he's putting these disadvantageous, like, 3rd and longs, and he's just making a ton of great throws to get himself out of it. Now, here for the Bills, I'm going to go with Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback from Florida State. Levi Wallace is on his contract year right now, and he could step in and replace Levi Wallace. A great corner. Probably not the best scheme fit, as he's more of a straight man-to-man corner. Maybe not straight, but he's definitely a better man-to-man corner. And he probably, from a size standpoint and profiles, would be better in the slot, though he has been an an elite cornerback in the on the outside in college. He's been amazing there, so I don't, like, yeah. And it also takes a different skill set to play in the slot. Like, you want, like, to have guys to, like, just switch a guy from outside to slot isn't the best idea. Because you want guys that actually have that experience taking reps in the slot, as it takes a different skill set. Now here, I'm going to go with Basham here. I think he still might be a first-round talent. I think he still is a first-round talent, mainly based off of his athletic traits and some of the stuff he showed last year. And, I mean, like, he's a powerful guy. He's not a great edge rusher right now. Like, I feel like he might not ever be, like, he doesn't have the same flex. Like, I compared him to Myles Garrett from an athletic standpoint. Like, I don't know if he'll test that freakishly, but, like, I don't think he has nearly the flexibility that Myles Garrett has. Like, I think he's a much stiffer, straight type of power guy, where Myles Garrett can bend around the edge in a way that not a lot of people in the NFL can. Now here, this might seem like a bit of a weird pick. It might, like, Kadarius Toney. I think he showed that he could be more of a true receiver than people are giving him credit for. Like, people think he's just a gadget. And he is a very low-usage guy compared to other people. Like, that is true. Like, those are all factual statements. But he is showing that he can put guys in a blender off the line of scrimmage using his just raw athleticism, burst, twitchiness off the line, on top of just being hard as hell to bring down. Now here I'm going to have the Jets go with Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. He's more of a contested catch guy, but he's actually pretty good after the catch too. He might not be the best separator in the world from a route running standpoint. Like, I don't think he has that much polish and technique to his route running. It's kind of just like DJ Chark in a way from a route running standpoint of it's all one speed. There is no setups. There is none of that. But, like, he might just, damn. I'm just came up with a great comp off the top of the dome just now. He might be DJ Chark. I think he's less athletic, but then again, before the ACL and even now, he is really athletic. He might damn near just be DJ Chark. And here we go. We have the last pick of the draft. There is no heir to the throne here. I thought about going with Jamie Newman out of Georgia, but he didn't play this year. Even still, I'm really high on him. Or out of Wake Forest, technically, because he hasn't played a game for Georgia. But I don't even know if he'll come out this season, honestly. Like, it wouldn't benefit him. Like, he should probably come out next year. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to end up going with a safety here, one that can play in the box, and Trayvon Moehrig out of TCU. He's been pretty damn good this season. He was pretty damn good last season as well. But, yeah. I mean, I'm just showing you guys all the picks now. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure make sure you turn on the post notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a video. And I'm out. Peace.